Good evening, welcome to Off the Post. I'm your host, as always, it's Jay, and I'm on my own tonight, so I'm just going to go through the Premier League action, but we're going to do things a little bit different. We're going to do two screens, or actually, no, that's not right. We're going to try and do two screens, and we are going to add, we're going to screen share, and we're going to add Premier League. There we go. So you can probably hear and see me. Obviously, this is the this week's games. Obviously, it's been. I'll see if I can do two screens there. There we go. So we'll maximize that and then we'll minimize that. There we go. So we'll start with that. Okay, so we've had this week's Premier League action, match week 25. And they are all your results this weekend. Some fantastic results and some very interesting results. And we'll talk about them, most of them, because I saw most of these games. First up, obviously, we had Leeds United versus Nottingham Forest. Leeds United obviously have been very good at home lately. Nottingham Forest are in a relegation battle. Very close at the moment. They're looking at 17th, 26 points, only 3 points adrift of West Ham, but haven't done good in the last two games. Obviously, drawn one and lost one. Not the best of starts there for Nottingham Forest. Leeds United, though, it did take the win 3-1, so fantastic win for them. Then we'll go over to the next game, Man United and Spurs. Now, I thought this was going to be a tough game. I watched this with my compadre, keeper. We watched this together, and this was a very interesting game. Spurs went down to 10 men, unfortunately. Romero got sent off. That is now, I think, I'm just looking at red cards. He's got 2 red cards this season, so obviously his discipline is not the best currently. So a little bit of a shame there for him. But they still had chances. Spurs still had opportunities to still, get a goal, which was very interesting, even though Man United had a lot of shots, but they had a lot of shots outside the D as well, from about 25 yards, 35 yards out, so which was very interesting to see. But currently at the moment, obviously Man United are in the best form in the Premier League. Now, I cannot believe I'm saying that, but they have drawn 1, and 1. So they are 4 on the bounce, and they are looking very, very good going into the midweek games, which we will talk about after through the show tonight. Okay, I am definitely on my own. Anthony cannot make it. He's having issues, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, so there you go. So we'll talk about Tottenham. What do we feel that is going wrong with Spurs at the moment? Obviously, this season in general, like sitting 15th in the table, joint with Leeds United. The only difference is goal difference. And Spurs are heading into a game against Newcastle at home. Then they head over for the London derby against Arsenal. So could we see Tottenham get even more into the relegation zone? That's going to be the biggest question. And how long is Thomas Frank going to stay at the club? That's another question as well. Obviously, he's been in charge of them for quite some time now, but the results just are not going their way. If we're looking at some of the results and some of the stats, obviously 25 games, won only 7 games, drawn 8 games and lost 10. So there are only 2 games only 2 games more they've lost. So, 2 less games than that they've drawn. So they've drawn 8 games and only won 7. And you look at the likes of the top 5, won 17, 15, 14, 12 and 12. And obviously down there Liverpool in 6th with 11 points. So, yeah, there's some serious problems going on with Tottenham at the moment. Let's talk a little bit about Man United as well. So Man United are in fantastic form. Yeah, they've Michael Carricker's just doing wonders with United. The players just seem to be playing for Man United, which is really good to see. The question is, are they going to be able to continue this form? Are they going to be able to continue it? Because it's all well and truly, continuing um, the form, but it's tough, especially when you get injuries like Doggo's been injured. Cisco came on for a bit and had a massive opportunity to make it 3-0, but didn't. But Man United are going up against a team that's in good form at the moment. They've got West Ham. So they're going away, going to West Ham, and as we see, West Ham are in a little bit of form at the moment. Won their last game, which we'll obviously talk about later on. But going to be interesting. Going to be really interesting to see because obviously Man United down 44 points, 3 points adrift of Villa. And Villa are up and down at the moment with form. They drew their game against Bournemouth, which we'll talk a little bit about as well, which they technically shouldn't really have drawn, really. They should have lost that game. So they're really unfortunate there. So the questions are going to be raised. How long is Thomas Frank going to be with Spurs? Are Man United going to be able to continue? But another big question is, are Man United, are they looking at, could they even get closer to the top three and challenge for the title? If Villa lose their next game and United win, they're right behind them and they will overtake them on goal difference as well. So Man United will be on 47 points. Obviously, City, if they win, they'll be on 53 and Arsenal will be on 59. So, they're still obviously a long way away, but the form they're in at the moment, you never know. It's the unknown. So that's going to be the biggest question. I'm going to put that out to the chat, actually, just to see what your thoughts are. So we'll put a poll. We'll start a poll. Will Man U... Hang on, here we go. Could Man U be title favourites? Here we go. Let's see. Yes. No. So we'll start that poll. And let's see what happens, see what you guys have got to say, and if you get involved, and let us know in the chat. All right, let's move on. Let's go back over to our next game. So, our next game was Fulham and Everton. Obviously, Fulham lately have been on really, really good form as well. Sitting 11th, sitting 10th in the table. Last two games, though, they have lost. They have lost the last two. So, interesting to see that. And Everton on a balance of a form, they're a club that just tick along. They tick along. They've obviously had the news of Jack Grealish out for the rest of the season. He's obviously had his surgery. That's a no go. So bit of a loss there. But Shrewsbury Hall again, he is just the one for Everton that just makes the difference at the moment. So let's look a little bit about Everton and Fulham. So Fulham lost their last game against United. That was a bit unlucky, I've got to say. Everton drew their game against Brighton. So obviously coming into this week, Everton are at home against Bournemouth and Fulham going against Man City. Now, if you can't remember, the last time Man City played Fulham, it was a 5-4 win to City. But what a game that was. Fulham could have actually equalised right at the end there if the ball didn't get cleared off the line. So, could have been an interesting game. Both teams at the moment, they're doing okay. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But, as you can see there, just moving up and down again. They're back to the results. There we go. There is the results for Fulham and Everton. Then we'll head over to Burnley and West Ham. Well, Burnley got another loss now. So if we're looking at the table, they are sitting down there in 19th position. Drawn, lost. So the last two games Burnley have played, they lost 3-0 against Sunderland at home. But as we know, Sunderland have been very strong all season at home. Not even lost a game at home. So they're going to be... Yeah, they're hard to beat, and obviously Burnley didn't beat them, unfortunately. Then they lost 2-0 to West Ham at home as well. So, but you could technically say that Burnley are down. They are out. They're gone. So, who is going to be left? That's going to be the question, because it looks like it's Burnley and Wolves. They're both gone. 15 points, 8 points. Burnley have got a bit of a struggle to catch West Ham with 23 points, and West Ham are 3 points behind Nottingham Forest. But if you look at West Ham's form, lost 1, lost 1. And they do look like they are in good form at the moment. But big news coming in, they do have a lot of players out against Man United. So key players, Somerville, Jared Bowen, both not playing. So going to be interesting to see how they line up on that one. If they end up lining up with some of their new players that they bought in the transfer market, we'll still have to wait and see. So keep an eye on that. But we'll talk about the games coming up anyway as well. So, and then we'll also talk about the predictions as well. The guys have done their predictions, which is really good. So we'll go through them next. Okay, next team. Arsenal and Sunderland. Not really much to say about this. This is going to be a tough one, because this was a game that I thought that was going to be a little bit of a struggle. Very similar to the Leeds game, actually. When we played Leeds, we were playing Leeds, who've been good at home. They've beat Chelsea, they've drew against United, Liverpool. So they've been pretty good. So it was going to be an interesting game, but they just didn't seem to have. They gave it their all, but they didn't seem to have like the execution. They couldn't execute anything in that game, which was a bit of a shame, really. But as an Arsenal fan, good result for us. Obviously 3-0. Gokres on the score sheet twice as well. That's really good form. Zubimendi scoring again, really good. Great signing this season. And obviously that put us 9 points clear. Or I think it was 6 points. It was 6. It was 9 points clear going into the Man City and Liverpool game, which we'll talk about as well, which is a lot to talk about that game. That game was one hell of a game. Pros and cons in that game. So, Arsenal obviously at the top of the table still, keeping that consistency at the moment. The form has not been the best, though. Drawn, lost, 1-1. So they've won 2 on the bounce. They'll be happy with that. Goal difference, obviously the 3-0, pushed up to 32 now, with Man City's on 27 and Villa's on 9. So there's no one really, apart from Chelsea and Man City, that can really catch Arsenal on goal difference. So that could make a massive difference going into the last game of the season as well. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But really good start there for Arsenal going into their game, where they are heading over to Brentford, going to the Vitality away as well. Going to be a tough game, not going to be easy. I don't think that we're going to be able to push Brentford over like we have done with Leeds and Sunderland. So Igor, I've got his name now. What's his name? Igor Thiago has been fantastic. 17 goals this season. If he gets the service, he could be one to watch out for. But no Kevin Schade, their left winger, who's been very, very good for Brentford lately. He's got a red card as well. So that's going to be very interesting. Talking a little bit about Sunderland. Sunderland having a good season. First time in the Premier League for a while. Obviously lost, 1 lost. So a little bit of a mixture on the form there for Sunderland in P9. 36 points, 1 point behind Everton, 2 points in front of Fulham, 3 points behind Brentford, and joint with Liverpool. So they'll be all right. But away from home, they haven't been the best. They seem to struggle, and obviously they had no Granit Xhaka. They didn't have their captain. And they had quite obviously a few good players on the bench as well. So, Sunderland obviously heading over to Liverpool, and now playing Liverpool at home. And as we've stated, Sunderland have not lost at home this season. So this is going to be a really, really good game. and a big game, obviously, for Sunderland. Could this be the time where they lose at home this season? You know, they're playing a Liverpool who've been on good form. They won comfortably in the Champions League. They won comfortably against Newcastle. Let's talk about Liverpool. You know, last game, yeah, they won 4-1 against Newcastle. Great result there. And obviously Sunderland won Burnley as well. But then obviously both teams obviously lost at the weekend, which we'll talk about later on. So going to be an interesting one there. And Liverpool cannot afford to keep dropping points. They need to get back to where they are in the Champions League spots as well. Because at the moment, they've got the guys behind them catching and the guys in front pulling away. So going to be an interesting game. Okay, moving on. We'll go over to Wolves and Chelsea. Well, not really much to say about this game, really. Chelsea going into this game, I thought this would have been a tight game, really, because I've seen so many times Wolves have played Chelsea before, and it's always been 2-1, 3-2. It's always been a high-scoring game, but Cole Palmer just ripped them apart, you know, and the defending, oh my days, it was just like watching a League One side. It was shocking. So bad defending. And you can see the reason why Wolves are getting relegated. They just don't seem to have a clue as well. And they've just sold Larson, and I don't know. I think this was, in the end, a very, very comfortable win for Chelsea. It's pushed them up to, obviously, P5. They're on very good form as well. They've only lost one game and then 1-1-1-1. So they are on a 4-win streak at the moment. So they'll be really happy. And to be honest with you, talking a little bit about Chelsea, Liam Rosner has done a fantastic job since he's taken over. You wouldn't have really thought he would be the prime time manager to be in charge of a club like Chelsea. We know they're a big club. You know, they've got millions and millions of pounds and billions of pounds probably. But they seem to have a plan and it's working. You know, obviously they went out the Carabo Cup last week, which was a bit disappointing, and I think they felt that they did feel that, you know, and they're in the Champions League as well. But Liam Rosner has just decided to just turn it around, and he's just doing something with that team, and it's just working. And I don't think they'll get to where they need to. Well, I don't think they'll get to the top 3. I think they'll be in the top 5. I think they'll still slip up. I don't think Cole Palmer's happy at the club. I don't know. I think maybe of injuries, maybe a little bit too much, but he was fantastic in that game. You know, getting a hat trick, fantastic. So he'll be chuffed. That's a bit of motivation for him, and also form going into the next game, where we talk about that now. Chelsea are playing Leeds at Stamford Bridge. So, and the last time, remember, Chelsea played Leeds, they lost. So this is going to be an interesting one. Will we see a little bit of revenge for Chelsea going into Leeds United? This is a big, big game, and a big game for Nottingham Forest as well. They are going to Wolves, and obviously we know Wolves are down. But how big of a game is this? This could be the decider of Championship football. So if Forest win this, they go 3 points. They go on the same amount of points as Leeds, if Leeds drop points against Chelsea. So 3 big games for the bottom 3. So West Ham, Nottingham Forest and Leeds. They've got 3 massive games each. Well, sorry, 1 game each they've got midweek, which is obviously tomorrow morning, and then obviously on Friday morning. So going to be really interesting to see, because West Ham 3 points adrift of Forest, and Forest 3 points adrift of Leeds, and any of those guys drop points, it's going to be really interesting. And these games coming in, they're going to be key games. So that game is going to be massive, more for Forest, not for Wolves, because Wolves are down. They've got 8 points. You know, we had a bit of a discussion last week about how many points are they going to score for the remainder of the season. So, and some people were saying, 11. I think I said 20 or 18, I think, at the end. So I think I will get another win. I think so. But, yeah, massive game. Massive game there. Okay, moving on to our next game. That's not it. Sorry, I do apologise. It is Bournemouth and Villa. Well, Villa again dropping points. They're dropping points yet again. And this is the interesting thing here. Villa. You look at Villa at the moment in the table. Let's look at Villa's last game. Like they played. Well, they lost, didn't they? Lost against Brentford. So back up to the top though. They've drawn, lost, won, lost, drawn. So they're all over the place as well on form. They haven't got a win in the last two. So they're going to need it. And they're on 47 points. And they've got Man United chasing them. And also 47, 48, 49, 50. They're 3 points adrift of City now. So they're going to have to bounce back. But their draws, they keep getting too many draws. That's now 5 draws that they've got this season. 6 losses. So they need to try to convert those into wins. Tough game. Very, very tough game, that is. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. But they have got Brighton at home. So that's not going to be easy. Brighton are not pushovers. And they, unfortunately, I think they lost as well, didn't they? Yes, they did. They lost against Crystal Palace 1-0 at home. So, yeah, that's an interesting one to see that they've lost at home. So unfortunate for them, for Brighton. But Villa will definitely want to bounce back 100%. Okay, moving on. Newcastle. Let's talk about Newcastle. This was a big scoring game, 3-2 in Brentford, and a loss at St James's Park, which you don't normally see a lot of. Newcastle are very strong at home. But let's look a little bit about Newcastle's form. So, yeah, look in the last 5 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They've won, drawn, lost. They're 3 on the bounce of losers at the moment. Brentford, though, on the other hand, have won, lost, 1. So they're 2 on the bounce. And it's 39 points to 33. So, yeah, 12th and 7th. And yes, a lot of questions spoken about this game, about Newcastle and their form, their formation, their lineup isn't right. There's a lot of questionable things. Is Eddie Howe the right man to take Newcastle forward? Does Pope need to go? So a lot to be spoken about Newcastle as well. Going into obviously midweek games as well. Newcastle playing away, so playing Tottenham, and we know that Tottenham have been absolutely awful at home. They are better away than they are at home, and obviously Brentford going to Arsenal as well. So talking a little bit about Brentford, a team that have been very surprising. You know, they've got their striker who is second in the goal stats leaderboard. 17, 18, 19, 20. 4 goals behind the man, or I call him a robot or a machine, Erling Haaland. So that just shows you that they have got guys that can score prolific. He can score. He can score goals when he's got the service. So that could be the threat to Arsenal this week. It's away as well, so which will be tough. And Brentford will really enjoy that game because they're on good form. You know, they're coming off 2 wins. Newcastle, on the other hand, they will want to get a result. They will want to bounce back, but they're playing a Tottenham side which are a little bit fragile. As we know, Tottenham lost, drawn, lost. So their form is terrible at the moment. And no Romero either, who is probably one of the guys that's scoring all their goals. It's going to make a big difference. So going to be very interesting week there. Right, moving on. Brighton and Crystal Palace. I was quite surprised about this actually. I thought Brighton were going to win at home here. So to see this after Brighton drew against Everton and Crystal Palace drew against Forest, so both teams drew last week, and no, Brighton unfortunately lost, and Crystal Palace moved themselves out of the way of round about Tottenham because they were on that 29 points. So they've given themselves a bit of a breathing space at the moment, but I think since Matetta's been injured, I think it's been a bit of a problem. They've signed Larson for substantial amount of money. But is he going to be the answer for them to the end of the season. I think Matida's out. I don't think he'll be back until the end of the season as well. So interesting. Looking at Palace, obviously drawn, lost, drawn, won. So they've got a win. They're going for win for a second. So we'll have to wait and see. And Brighton, lost. Sorry, drawn, lost. Drawn, lost. Not on good form at the moment. 31 points, 1 point behind Palace, and 2 points adrift of Spurs. So interesting to see. And obviously their games this weekend. We've got Crystal Palace going at home to Burnley, so it should be an easy 3 points there. And obviously, as I did say earlier, Aston Villa playing at home against Brighton. Okay, moving on to the last game. Oh, no, I've done it wrong again. There we go. The last game of the week, Liverpool and Man City. Well, what do we have to say about this game? We've got to say a lot about this game, because this game was a big game. It was a big game for Liverpool, and it was a big game for Man City. And it was in the situation that Man City needed to grab it to keep hold of Arsenal, to try and push them. You know, they've been in this situation before. They've been 6 points before. They've pulled it in and they've won the title. Yes, we can talk about the past and say that Arsenal bottled it. There was other things that happened. They've done it twice. But this was a massive game. And also for Liverpool, Liverpool's form has not been there. They have not been the best of champions compared to last season. It's been a completely different season. They've lost key players. They haven't had those players. There's been players trying to adapt. And yeah, we'll look at the last result for Liverpool with 4-1 against Newcastle. Great form, great game. Man City dropped points. Obviously, again, drew against Tottenham 2-2 when they were 2-0 up. And you look at Liverpool's form as well. Drawn, lost, won, lost, all over the place. And Man City's drawn, lost, won, drawn, won. So they are all over the place. So both of these teams going into this game was going to be a big one. And Liverpool started off great. They got the goal. And what a goal. What a goal, man. Take a bow. If you've not seen it, YouTube, Dominic Slobotslai, whatever his name is, free kick. It's probably the best goal of the season. He just pings it and he hits the post and in. Off the post, as they say. What a finish. But then Man City, as they are hungry, and they do it as we've seen so many times before, they push and push and push. And just basically Bernardo Silva was unmarked and just got on the end of a ball. 1-1. We're all clapping our hands as Arsenal fans thinking, we're happy with this. We'll go 8 points clear, But when obviously Liverpool scored, we were 9 points. So it was like, yeah, let's go. Both teams played crap, though, let's be honest. In the first half, it was shocking. The defending, the pressing, the ball, some of the passing was just atrocious as well. So not the best of games. Then it's 1-1. So we're thinking, right, how long is it going to be like this? Are Man City going to be able to get chances? Liverpool had chances, though, to make it 2-1, but they didn't capitalise on them. I think there was a few situations there. I think Vertzi had a massive opportunity. He just placed it, but what happens? Nunes comes down on the right-hand side, gets the ball. Alisson comes out, brings him down. Penalty to Man City. Goes to VAR. Does go to VAR because it looked like he made no contact. But then when you look at it, he does make contact. He doesn't try and take him out. He just pulls out. But the follow-through is a penalty. Up steps Erling Haaland. He took it very quickly. I've got to say, he didn't just take his time, but it took a lot of time though with the VAR and all that, making the decision and letting the penalty stand. He stepped up. Alisson goes the right way. Doesn't save it though. Unfortunately, it's 2-1. Liverpool though, right at the end, go right down to the end, and two players go down in the box. I think it's Chiesa and Salah. No VAR, no penalty. Then the ball gets absolutely booted up, or a header from someone. Cherki then plays the ball through. Erling Haaland is running onto it, gets held his shirt by Dominic, and then after he gets in front of Haaland, Haaland pulls him back and he falls into the goal. scores the goal goes, the ball goes in the goal, then it goes to VAR. And we're thinking, oh, this could get 10 times worse. Obviously, Man City have won this game 3-1. No, VAR turn around and say no goal because of some sort of rule. I've got no idea. You'd have to Google it. They then say, okay, no goal to Man City, stays at 2-1. Then they send off Dominic as well. So Dominic's not playing against Sunderland, which is a big game for them. 100%. They're going to have to bounce back after that loss at City. But they could have chances. Liverpool could have put them away. They didn't. Frustrating. It is frustrating. But Man City, they beat them. And it's a big psychological boost for them, 100%. I've seen all the tweets. I've seen all the media. The massive psychological boost for City. And then looking at the run of form and run of fixtures coming in for City, they think they can do it. It is a big ask though. 6 points is a big ask. And the way Arsenal have been playing at the moment, people are saying it doesn't look like they drop points. But the biggest thing you have to remember is Arsenal play Man City in April. And that is going to be probably the biggest game of the whole season. We've seen big games. We've seen Man United play Arsenal, Man United play Chelsea, Man United play Liverpool, Liverpool play Everton, Man City play Arsenal, and Chelsea play Arsenal. Oh, we've seen all the derby games, but this game is probably going to be the biggest and could be the ultimate decider as well, who wins the Premier League. A lot of people are asking me questions saying, what do you think? And I'm thinking, well, I've been in this position before. It's not the same team. It's not the same team as last season. It's not the same team before the season before that. They've got so much more squad depth. They can take off one player and bring on another player, which is ruthless. You look at the bench, they can just switch it up. They can switch 5 players up completely, and it could just change the whole game very, very quickly. So can Man City do that at the moment? No, they can't. They don't have the players. The defense is not that good. They've had to make extra signings to try and keep it up. They've brought Mark Guy. They're talking about making a rule or a debate about getting him fit for the Carabo, which we'll talk later on. So there's a lot going on with City. Haaland hadn't scored in 11 games. Obviously, he's now scored. That's a bit of confidence for him. But they don't look the same Man City that we've seen before. So it's going to be very interesting. And let's talk about, obviously, their games coming up. Obviously, Liverpool going against Sunderland. Liverpool sitting in 6th position, 39 points. They need to win their game. They've got to win that game. 39, 40, 41. That pushes them to 42 points. They're still 1 point adrift of Chelsea, but they need to put that pressure on because if not, they're not going to make the Champions League. And if they're not careful and they do lose any other games, and say, for instance, Brentford do surprise, Arsenal do surprise and win some more games, Brentford could end up into the Europa League and knock Liverpool out. So Liverpool need to keep that momentum. And going to Sunderland, who have not lost at home, is a tough ask. And especially when they've just lost Dominic as well. So I'll probably look to see Gravenberch and probably Curtis Jones in there and McAllister. I think they'll be the midfield. It'll be interesting to see how they line up as well. So we'll have to wait and see for that. But Man City, they've got a tough game. This is not going to be easy for them. I know they're at home, but they've got Fulham. And Fulham will want to bounce back. Fulham are in P10 at the moment. They're 2 points behind Sunderland and 3 points behind Everton. So if they win that and Everton and Sunderland lose, they could end up going above Everton into P8 as well. And they want to bounce back from 2 L's. They will want to bounce back from that. So that is going to be a big game, ladies and gentlemen. If you're tuning in to watch that is going to be a big game. I'm just seeing if anyone's voted on the poll. Yes, apparently 50% are saying yes and 50% are saying no. So there's your poll vote at the moment. So we'll wait until that ends the show. So moving on, let's talk about. Let's talk about the predictions. So this week's predictions. Bear with me. week 25. Do you know what I'll do? I'm going to share this screen. So I'm going to delete this and I'm going to share the other one because that will be a good one to share so I can show you. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever that says. Okay, off the post. Here we go. All right. Make sure you can see this on your screen. So here we go. You may not be able to see it. So currently, at the moment, as it stands in week 25, so we're in this box here, right? I'm leading. I won 6. I got 6 points this week. Nishka got 5. Keeper got 4. Anthony got 1, and Connor got 4. So these are your standings currently. I am leading with 122 points. Keeper with 111. Nishka 110. So only 1 point between the keeper and Nishka. Kaus on 77. Anthony on 64. Shaz on 42. Sats on 30. RJ 24. Connor on 14. Huzi on 42. And we are going into this week's games, which is week 26. So these are the games. These are your predictions. I'm predicting a 2-1 win to Newcastle, a 2-1 win to Chelsea, a 2-1 win to Bournemouth. I'm going for a lot of 2-1s here. A 2-1 win to West Ham. I feel they're going to surprise Man United here, but we'll see. Forest, a 2-0 win against Wolves, a 2-1 win against Villa and Brighton, a 3-0 win against Palace and Burnley. Man City, I'm going for a draw. I think it'll be a tough game. Sunderland, I'm going for a 2-1 win. I think Sunderland will lose for the first time this season at home, depending on how Liverpool, line up. And then I'm going for a 3-1 win to Arsenal against Brentford. I could be dreaming. We'll have to wait and see. But I've got to have faith in my team. So they're your predictions for Off the Post currently at the moment. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the Carabo Cup final. So we saw both teams. Obviously, Arsenal play Chelsea, and I'm going to just share this screen as well. So just bear with me as well. I'm sharing a lot of screens tonight. Do apologise. Just want to make sure I've got this all right. There we go. So this is your Carabo Cup final, and what a game this is going to be. So we have Arsenal and Man City on the 23rd of March, heading it out for the first cup tournament of the season. And look at this. This is what it's like in the Premier League. This is what it's like in the Cup. Are we going to see Arsenal play Man City like 4 times in the end of the season? Carabo Cup, obviously the League, obviously the FA Cup, the Champions League. It just could be insane. So, talking about this though, this is a big game for both teams. Obviously, Man City haven't really played that well this season. They've been hurt by a lot of injuries. But massive opportunity to get trophy, and also Arsenal as well to get their first trophy. This is what everyone's been complaining about as Arsenal fans. We need to see trophies in the cabinet, and I think from what I'm hearing as well, the Carabo Cup is now a trophy that every Premier League team wants to win, or any team wants to win. It's not like how it used to be, the Worthington Cup. No one used to really care, but it's a trophy, and you've got 2 big, you could say Galacticos or Giants playing in it. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they line up. When is that game going to end up? How is it going to work? Because they're saying it's the 23rd of March. Is that correct? So it's the 23rd of March. So let's have a look at some of the games to find out when both teams play. So here we go. So both their games have been postponed. Both of them. Arsenal's hasn't. So Arsenal play Everton on the 16th of March and West Ham play Man City on the 15th of March, right? And after the 20, so then there's no games, and then Arsenal play Bournemouth, and then Man City play Chelsea. So what a game, straight after the Carabo Cup. So there's no really big games there, and you would probably look at City and go, they're probably both 3-point wins there. for Arsenal and Man City. So that's going to be massive. That is going to be massive as well. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Okay, moving on. Let's go back to the Premier League and let's get the week's games to find out. Oh, can't screen share anymore. Oh, I've got so many screen shares. Hang on. Let me just, sorry, I'm just working something out, guys. So I got that one. Let's see if I can share that one. What's this one? Oh, there we go. This is what we want. Yeah, there we go. So we have got these games coming up. No, that's ages away. Sorry to apologise. I'll fire all the way up. So these are the games we've got today. So today we've got Everton and Bournemouth. Then we have Tottenham and Newcastle. Then followed by Chelsea and Leeds. Then we've got West Ham with Man United. Then we've also got tomorrow Nottingham Forest and Wolves, Aston Villa and Brighton, Crystal Palace and Burnley, Man City and Fulham, Sunderland and Liverpool as well. And then on Friday, the last game of the week, which they've left it right at the end. So basically, Man City could be 3 points adrift Arsenal by the time they kick off, which is going to be scary. Villa as well could be very, very close to Man City. They could be on the same points. We'll have to wait and see. So this is going to be big here. This is going to be interesting. And pressure's going to be on here. Pressure's going to be on here as well. So going to be very exciting to see what happens for the time being there. Just going to end up get rid of some of these. Just going to get rid of some of these because my screen's getting a lot smaller. I do apologise. There we go. So a lot to look forward to this coming week in the Premier League. And I will share one more. Let's look at the table. So here we go. Here is your table of the Premier League as it stands at the moment. There we go. So let me just move that up. There we go. So Arsenal leading the way at the top of the Premier League with 56 points, with Man City behind, getting that win against Liverpool, needing that win, pushing it from 9 back to 6. It's still a big ask from Man City, but they feel that they can do it. Then down in P3 is Villa with 47 points. Behind them, Man United, who are the best team in the league at the moment on form with 44 points. Chelsea with 43 points in P5. Then you've got Liverpool down there in 6th on the same amount of points as Brentford. They are going to have to bounce back after that loss against City. So they will definitely want to be pushing, and they need to push for those Champions League spots as well, because it is coming to not long left before the season finishes. And then you've got Brentford, as we said, 39 points. They've got a big game coming up. Everton down there in P8 on 37. Then you've got Sunderland 1 point behind them in P9. Then Fulham 34, joint with Bournemouth. The difference is goal difference by 1. So Fulham definitely going to want to bounce back. They've got a tough game against Man City, and then Bournemouth as well. Newcastle down there in 12th. They'll want to bounce back. We'll just go a little bit further down so we don't lose it. Sorry to apologise. There we go. Then we have got Crystal Palace in 13th on 32 points, 1 point behind Newcastle. Then Brighton in 14th, 31 points. Then Tottenham, 29 points, same as Leeds. So Leeds and Spurs are definitely going to want to get a win. And Tottenham going at home against Newcastle, and Leeds heading away to Chelsea. So we have 2 big games there. Nottingham Forest playing a big game at relegation battle, and probably will be relegated very, very soon. Wolves, so that's a big game for Forest. West Ham playing Man United at home. That's a big game for them. Burnley looking likely there to be down in 19th with 15 points, and Wolves with 20th with 8 points. Now heading over to the goal scorers this season. These are your goal scorers currently. Erling Haaland leading the charts with 21 goals. Igo Thiago in second with 17. Antoine Semedo with 12. Dominic Calvert-Lewin with 10. Hugo Nketiah with 10. Then we're going to head over to assists. Ooh, there's quite a few in there. So Bruno Fernandes with 12 assists, looking like to get the assister of the season. Ryan Cherky with 7. He's having a fantastic season. Erling Haaland there is 6. Jack Grealish was 6, but unfortunately out for the following season. Granit Xhaka with 5, but has been injured. Leon Trossard for Arsenal in 5. Mohamed Salah with 5. Kudus with 5, but has been out long-term injury. Morgan Rogers with 5 as well. Then heading over to yellow cards. 9 yellow cards for Mosquera. He's not having good discipline, is he? Look at that. That just tells you how bad Wolves have been this season. 3 players with 9 and 8 yellow cards. Mosquera, Andre, and Joao Gomez. Christian Romero as well. 9 yellow cards. Wow. Kyle Walker with 8. Lewis Dunk with 8. And Tim Orang, I can't say that word. That's unfortunate. I can't say that. I do apologise. And there we go. Red cards. Christian Romero with 2, and everyone else all the way down with 1. So they are your stats for the Premier League at the moment. And I'm just going to remove that once again. There we go. I think we are coming to the closing of the show. Still 50, 60. Oh, no. Could Man United be title favourites? There you go. So 67% saying no, 33% saying yes. So thank you very much to who did vote on that. Really do appreciate it. And yeah, going to be interesting to see what happens. A great week of Premier League action. Probably not going to be able to do a watch along, unfortunately, as these are midweek games. But going into the weekend, which we will be touching base next week, because there's not a game until the 22nd. So just trying to work out when that is. 13th. Yeah, there's a week off. So yeah, we're going to have a week off as well, off the post. Thank you very much, Slushy. Welcome to the chat, mate. Welcome to the chat. Yeah, so that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for tuning in as always. And remember, press that blue button, press that red button, give us a subscribe, and get amongst it, and get your comments in. And we'll be back very, very soon. And yeah, enjoy the midweek action, and let's see who we are going to see some surprises. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.